Hello, everyone. This is Dex. I am a jack of all trades who's trying to master them all. I'm here today to present my PowerPoint presentation to my team of business owners and partners, their prospective partners and clients, and really for anyone else within an earshot of this video. This is really a first of a series of videos aimed at mental development for new business owners and entrepreneurs, and especially those that have come to that financial fork in the road where you realize that you have to do something different. The theme for this webcast presentation is Business Plan 2016. And why multiple streams of income. Now, before we address this major question on why multiple streams of income, I would first like for all of you to answer 4 simple yes or no questions, and do this mentally. Don't blurt out your answer. Keep it to yourself, but think on these and ponder on these honestly. And as a matter of fact, before we go further, let's take what I coined the honest with self pledge, okay? Raise your hand and repeat after me. I may lie to many, I may lie to a few, but lie to myself, I just won't do. Now, I wanted you to take that pledge because a lot of times we won't either be honest with ourselves, or if we hear some hard truths, we tend to try and ignore it as if it doesn't pertain to us. But today I want us to be honest with ourselves. So answer these 4 questions in your mental and keep the answer to yourself. But again, be as honest as possible. Now, the first bullet is, do you feel you pay too much of your income in taxes? Bullet 1 is interesting because to really understand or to know if you're paying too much, you have to recognize that you have other options at your disposal. Or if it's even conceivable to pay less than the rate you may be paying now. Now, while you're pondering yes or no to this question, I'm going to give you a little food for thought and think on this as well. You may not be aware of this fact, but the government favors the employer over the employee, and the business owner over the worker bee. And I will get more into the weed of that fact in the next series called Business Concept Model. Now, the second bullet is, do you feel you need to make more income? Now, while you ponder this question, think of how many times you have heard friends and loved ones say those famous 5 words, and in some cases, infamous 5 words. I am tired of being broke. Again, I'm tired of being broke. Now, depending on perspective, there's a famous 5 words or they're infamous, whichever way. It really depends on perspective. Now, most of the time when they say those words, they say it so much that they tend to double down on them, right? Then they say, I'm sick and tired of being broke. And after they say that, after a while, they do what? They double down on that and then say what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being broke. Now, to me, that would be so comical if it wasn't so serious. So if you are one of those that found yourself saying that, then you know you need to be making more money. See, when it comes to money, that old adage of less is more, don't let anybody fool you with that. Because that mantra of less is more, the only people that tend to believe or follow that philosophy will be your employer. Because they believe in paying you less while giving you more work, paying you less while giving you more responsibility. Let's move on. Do you believe your time is worth more than what your employer feels it's worth? Now, this question seems more of a self-serving, quasi-selfish type of question, because all of us as human beings, we tend to believe we are worth more than what the next man or woman think we are, right? So while you ponder this question, think on this important caveat. When an employer technically considers worth, they are most of the time basing it on the worth of the position that you are in or applying for. Not necessarily your individual worth, but by offering you, let's say, a position paying $15 an hour, they are essentially saying you are only worth $15 an hour. Now, you can be degreed up the wazoo, from bachelor's, master's, double degree, etc. But as long as you are content with a job, being just over broke, you will never be able to maximize worth for maximize effort. Let me repeat that. You will never be able to obtain maximum worth for maximum effort, because essentially that is all a job is. It is designed to keep you just over broke. J-O-B. Now, do you believe it takes more than a regular 9-to-5 to achieve financial success? That's a deep one. That is a deep one. And keep pondering these questions. Now, but for me, and I'm sure for you, there could be only one answer to this. As I mentioned in the last bullet, a job is designed to keep us just over broke. Now, the reason a 9-to-5 won't ever equal financial success is because, for one, we are working to achieve someone else's dream. And two, for the majority of us, a 9-to-5 won't allow us to maximize our pay at the same rate that an employer expects us to maximize our efforts. Basically saying your pay is limited. And as in most corporations, when you get to a certain amount of income, they start to cut back. And usually the cuts start with you. That is why I believe that in our efforts to secure a job or keep a job, and it is very important. But just remember, let your job be a stepping stone. Because if you look at it other than that, it will become an anchoring stone. Okay? Remember that. That's why it is incumbent upon us to find a business model where there is a direct correlation between maximum effort and maximum compensation. So now, what do? See, I believe like this. We should start thinking like the wealthy. See, now there's an old saying that it's okay to be a copycat as long as you what? Copy the right cat. So let's take a look at these three cats that we're talking about, right? What is the most important thing these men have in common? Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Mr. Sean Combs. Well, they were all wealthy from their primary business. Two, they could have just stopped after their first gig and just relaxed the rest of their life. But see, what's most important is that third bullet. Most importantly, they all believed that it was important to have multiple streams of income. So let's take a look at it. Let's look at Magic Johnson. Now, Magic Johnson, when he came into the league as a Laker, love him to death, go Lakers, right? He came in with a revolutionary contract, $25 million for 25 years. That was unheard of at the time. But look what he turned that into. Magic already with $25 million back then could go a long way. It goes a long way today. But even still, Magic had the foresight to know, let me flip this money into multiple businesses so I can have millions coming in from 6 or 7 or 8 different ways. That's how he became a billionaire. He went from Magic Johnson debit card, the Aspire Network, Fridays, Starbucks. He even, over here on this insert right here, he had some holdings in Burger King, AON, Best Buy, Vibe Magazine. He even bought full ownership into a mutual fund and financial firm called Equitrust, and I think it's situated in New York, if I'm not mistaken, but that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is this man has developed 6 to 7 companies or businesses or income streams. This is just off a Google search. He has multiple others that I didn't even waste the time to look for. But let's see what Magic Johnson thinks. I love this quote also. Now, Magic says, being able to touch so many people through my businesses and make money while doing it is a huge blessing. Blessing for who? It's a blessing for him. But who else is he blessing? He's blessing the thousands that he's employed, the thousands that he has helped put their children through college, through school, bought food, bought clothes. This was a blessing. But see, when you come and I go to someone that let's say have a job, maybe don't have what Magic has, don't have the mentality that Magic has, what's the first thing they say? Oh, I don't want no one making money off of me. Or the cynical mind will say this. The person with the cynical mind says, oh, they just making money off of you. They making money off the work you do. See, now that's the talk of a loser. That's the talk of a person with no ambition, no vision, no goals, no drive. Because understand this, any job you take, any job that you strive or that you attain for, there will always be someone making income or profit off of your efforts and labor. Please believe that. So let's take a look at the next man. Let's take a look at Mr. Sean Combs. Here's a man in music. Could have retired, could have left everything alone, could have lived a beautiful life just off what he did in music. He was a multi-millionaire in music. But what did he do? He had the mindset to say, look, let me take some of these millions and flip them into other businesses so that I can now go from the millionaire status to a billionaire status. So he went from one income stream and flipped it into Sean John's eyewear collection, Sean John's fashion collection. He also now owns a music television station, kind of like MTV, called Revolt. He also has sole ownership in Bad Boy Entertainment. In that business alone, he's making about 10 to 12 income streams of all the artists that's on the label. He also owns a premium alcohol line called Ciroc. He also owns a premium fragrance line. He also owns premium rim and tire line. So what I'm trying to tell you people is these are millionaires who have the mindset and the forethought to say, look, I must put my money into other avenues. So let's see how Puffy thinks now. See, Puffy says, when building a team, you focus on the people who go hard for the team without you asking them to, not the ones waiting on you. Woo, that's deep. That's deep. See, what Puffy is saying right here is you got to be a go-getter. You have to be ready to act on motivation. When you feel motivated, you better act on it. If you don't, act on motivation, then you were never motivated. You were only being reflection and revelation. That's all you felt, because motivation requires action. So you run with those who are willing to run with you, right? Not those that are sitting back waiting to see what happened. They're waiting to see what happened. That's the cynical person from the last slide that I was talking about. I tell my prospects all the time. I tell people in general, I'm going to do one of two things. Either I'm going to see you at the top or from the top. Either way, we will see each other. The only thing is from what vantage point. At equal eye level at the top, or I'll be looking down at you from the top because you chose to wait and procrastinate. Woo! We're going to move on. Let's see what our boy Michael Jordan. Oh, my goodness, this is good stuff, people. Now, let's look at the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Here's another man that revolutionized basketball. To this day, he could just retire off what he do in shoe sales. He could have retired and lived happily ever after off his last 2 years that he got from the Chicago Bulls. They paid him over $30 million the last 2 years. But look what he did. He flipped his millions into Michael Jordan steakhouses, and he got more than one, trust me. Michael Jordan Motorsports. I didn't even know about that. Again, this is from a Google search. Full ownership of the Charlotte Hornets now. That's big in itself. Michael Jordan Air Jordan shoe line. People go berserkers over this. Every week he releases a shoe. This man releases a shoe every week. The same kind of shoe. Only difference is different colors of the same shoe. Who does that? Who does that type of thing? Look, Michael Jordan, Nissan, ownership in Nissan dealership. You know what? I can go on and on and on. But let's see how Michael Jordan thinks. Ooh, I love it. Now, take a look at his quote. Now, this is a famous quote because he said this all the time. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. Whoa! So what does that mean? See, Michael shot lights out. He was not scared to shoot. He wasn't scared. He wasn't. Michael will shoot, keep shooting, and if you challenge him, he'll shoot some more. But guess what? If he never took the shots, he would never be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But guess what? I can replace the word shot with 3 words that to me are important in our discussion of financial independence, right? You miss 100% of the opportunities you never take. You miss 100% of the chances that you never take or realize. You miss 100% of the blessings that you never act on or take. That's deep. That's deep. So when you have a chance or an opportunity before you, you choose to wait because you want to see what the next man do or next woman do. Why don't you take the chance to see what you can do? Woo. So now what? I got a question for you. If all of these men, these 3 millionaires, if multiple streams of income is important enough for them, how could it not be important for us? We are thousandaires. These are millionaires. How can it not be important for us? I have 4 more questions, and I need you to ponder them just like you pondered the 4 questions at the beginning of the presentation. Can you do what they did, but on a smaller level? Can you give maximum effort in the chase of your dreams like they did for their dreams? I'll add a caveat to that. Can you give the same effort for your dreams that you're giving at your job for your employer's dream? Are you hungry enough to grind like they did? Are you humble enough to admit that the route you're going now just ain't getting it done? I'm reminded of my real estate investor in this real estate workshop that I've taken. Rather. This is a man who's financially set, financially well off. But he said to me, he said, I'm so financially set. And he said I. He did say I, and I don't blame him. I would say I too. He said, I'm so financially set, I wake up in the morning and not even know what day it is. He don't know if it's Mondays or Saturdays, it's Tuesdays or Wednesdays, it's Thursdays or Sundays. He don't even know, and I know he don't even care. That's financially independent. That's financially independent. See, you got to understand, people, anything we do, anything that we strive for, you're going to have to grind for it. You have to be willing to put skin in the game. You have to change our mindset. You can't be on an employee mindset if you are trying to have financial freedom. It just won't happen. This is not a science. Well, I take that back. There is a science to it, but it's not rocket science. You get out what you put in, you get what you give. We must take root in these universal principles if your goal is to achieve financial independence. So, how do you do that? You have a job, you have a job that's keeping you just over broke. So what's the answer? The answer is in ownership, business ownership. You remember what I said to you earlier, that the IRS favors the employer over the employee, and the business owner over the worker bee? It just, I'm telling you guys, this is where it's at. And when you look for a business, the first thing, it have to just make sense, right? You're not going to open up an ice factory in Alaska. That don't make sense, right? And it must be practical. So what do I mean by practical? It has to be useful in and be a part of people's everyday lives. The next important thing, it must check off two main boxes for a successful business. What are those two boxes? One, is there a market for your service or product? And by market, I'm saying in this global economy, in this world, is there a segment or a sub-segment of the population that requires your service or product? Two, does it meet a need? That need could be financial, emotional, spiritual, physical. Does it meet a need? I'll give you an example. Why do you think Facebook has captured the imagination of the world? Twitter, Google, all of these things. Why? Because they are meeting needs. Facebook is now the yellow pages of the internet. People go on Facebook before they jump on their cell phone. They will send a message on Facebook before they make a dial on their cell phone. People tell you their whole life on Facebook before they write a letter. That's why Facebook is now a multi-billion-dollar company. There is a huge market for it, and it meets a need. Next bullet, can money be made? real money. Because understand this, if you got a business and you're not making money, it's not a business, it's a hobby. And the last and one of the most important facts or bullet points, is there a support system? Do people just clip your wings and let you fly on your own? Or people that'll hold you up, give you the education, give you the tools to succeed? Are they there helping you succeed without worrying about their bottom line? Because in businesses like this, everybody eat. So listen, if I can introduce you to a business that answers all of these questions in the affirmative, would you be willing to strap up and let's run together? If your answer is in the affirmative, then I urge you to get with the person that brought you as a guest, that's sharing this video right now, or that's pulling you to the side, talking to you about business ownership. We got an extraordinary plan for you. I thank you for listening. My name is Dex, and salute.